Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a very exciting and also incredibly nerve-wracking video. So yeah, this is the first time I'm recording with a facecam. Clearly, I'm not used to talking to the camera, so if I actually end up looking mostly to either my screen that's right in front of me or to the left, that's because I'm actually looking at myself in my OBS viewfinder, so yeah, just excuse that. But I figured that this would be the perfect opportunity to actually just jump in and start recording with a facecam, because we just got some really exciting announcements for The Sims in today's, or technically by the time you're seeing this, to yesterday's. But yeah, we just got some really exciting announcements in the monthly Maxis Monthly, not monthly Maxis, yeah, Maxis Monthly stream, and this was actually the last one that they're doing for 2021. I almost said 2020. But yeah, this was actually the last Maxis Monthly stream for 2021, and they actually announced some really fun things and some things that I'm incredibly excited about and really excited to like explore more and know more about. But yeah, let's jump straight on into what they actually announced. They gave us a look at the I don't even know what the kit's name is at this point. I think it's called Modern Menswear or something, that's going to be coming out on the 2nd of December. But yeah, I'm not going to be talking about that because I'll probably do a like separate overview video about that kit once it comes out. But yeah, basically they gave us a look at some of the items and talked to one of the designers and all of that stuff. So I'll leave a link down below to a like live stream recap kind of thing that's on YouTube, that I'll leave a link down below. And then they also gave us the monthly, or not monthly, but the Maxis 411, which is where they talk about, you know, various things that are coming up in the community, issues, like anything that they want to address, all of that stuff. So I'll leave, yeah, that's also in that video. And then the really exciting part of the whole stream was the fact that they gave us a sneak peek and kind of an announcement for what's coming. So that's what we're going to be jumping into in just a second. But yeah, also just quick little disclaimer, my hair looks very crazy. This is what my hair looks like when I don't really pay attention to it, and I wasn't planning on recording today, so I didn't do anything with my hair, and this is just what happens when you have incredibly curly hair and try to wear headphones. So yeah, just ignore the fact that I look like a mess. But anyway, getting back into the actual point of this video, which is the announcement. Okay, so here we are on the blog post. Now this blog post actually released whilst the stream was still going on, and the blog post released before they actually got to the announcement part of the stream. So I kind of knew about the news before they mentioned it on the stream, and if you're on Twitter you probably already know as well. But they're actually introducing story progression to the game. So yeah, story progression is a thing. It's really, really cool. I'm really excited about it. It's not the same as the Sims 3 story progression, but it is a kind of like Sims 4 version of it. So I'm going to go through the blog post really quickly. I'm not going to read everything because there's a butt ton of information in this blog post, and definitely way more than I can go over without the video getting to be like 30 minutes long. But basically I'll leave the blog post down below as well if you want to read it. Highly recommend if you want to know a little bit more about what like the Sims 4 story progression is going to be like. And they're actually not calling it story progression either. They're calling it Neighborhood Stories, which is a very convoluted name. If I'm being honest, they could have just called it story progression. It would have made so much more sense and been so much easier. But yeah, so back to this. So basically, the introduction of this tells you right off the bat that this update will be coming out on November 30th. So next week, I think it's next week, what is it, like next week and Tuesday. Yeah, so next Tuesday, they'll actually be releasing the update for this. So they're going to be releasing this in different parts as well. So it says Neighborhood Stories. The Sims 4 is so there. The Sims 4 has so much that your sim can see and do, leading to interesting and often unexpected moments. All these life moments add up to something very important: life change at an individual level. So basically, they've been working on carrying that idea of life changes over to non-played Sims. So basically, neighborhood stories are a set of gameplay moments that all revolve around a single purpose: bring more life to neighborhood Sims that live outside the active household. So neighborhood Sims refers to most of the non-played characters in the game, not just the ones that live on the same street. So basically any sim that you're not currently playing with is what this is talking about. And they also say there's a lot we want to add to There's a lot we want to do to add more life to neighbor Sims, so we're rolling it out over more than one release. Basically, this means that the whole system isn't complete and they're going to be adding to it in future updates as well. This is kind of just the starting point for the story, for the neighborhood stories. Now, the first release focuses on Sims connected to your household. So basically what this means is, this is also kind of how they explain it on the stream, is that this means these are Sims that your sim has already met. So, your co-workers, your random friends that your sim makes at, a neighborhood venue or something like that. They even mention they mention maybe that one sim who welcomed them to the neighborhood with fruitcake, which seems like a bold move, but to each their own, I guess. So basically, any sim that your sim has already met. So any sim that shows up in your Sims' relationship panel is who this first update will affect, if that makes sense. So as they move through life, they'll try and do things like choosing a new career or having a baby or stuff like that. Future updates will build on this with more life changes for a wider range of Sims. More in the what's next section at the end of this blog post. But basically, what's neighborhood stories gameplay? Neighborhood stories begins with gameplay divided between life changes that your sim can influence neighborhood Sims to consider. So basically, what all of this means is that you can influence your neighbors to make certain changes to their life. So this is kind of like how they affect your gameplay. So one is you can direct one of your Sims to influence a neighborhood Sim to consider a life change, or a neighborhood Sim autonomously considers a life change, but they will always call you to check up with one of your Sims, and then you can tell them yes, no, or just leave it up to them. So that's a very important point that I want to mention, because this basically means that the Sims won't just autonomously mess up all of the storylines that you might have for them in your head. So if you don't want, if your Sim, let's say they know the pancakes, and you don't want the pancakes to have a child, they'll actually, when they decide to do that, when they decide to try for a baby, they'll call your Sim, and then you can tell them, yes, you can have a baby, or no, you can't, or whatever. So that's really nice, because it kind of still gives you the option to leave it up to chance and leave it up to them to just continue their lives, and you don't have to interfere with them, you don't have to go into their household or anything like that. But they also won't just mess up all of the storylines that you might have for them in your head. So you still have that little bit of control over it, which is very important, because I really hate when my Sims just decide to up and get married, and I didn't want them to get married, for example. So basically it says autonomous or active Sim influence life changes. So there is a difference. So neighborhood Sims may consider these life changes independently, or your Sim can convince them to change their current career to a different one, have a baby with their partner if they're in a relationship where they can, hang out with other Sims to form or deepen friendly relationships. So these are things that they can decide to do autonomously, and if they decide to do it autonomously, they'll call you about it. Or your Sim can directly, encourage them to try something like that. And autonomous only life changes says neighborhood Sims can only undergo these life changes independently, but they'll check with the Sim in the active household beforehand. So try to get promoted in their current career or accept a marriage proposal. So basically this is something like you can encourage them to change their career from, let's say you want them to change from being a doctor to being in the business career. You can influence them to change their career, but you can't influence them to get a promotion. That's something that the game will autonomously decide. So they'll get promoted from one level to the next, but they'll check with your Sims before they do. And then you can encourage them to make friends with others and get to know other Sims better, but you can't encourage them to propose to another Sim and get married. But they can autonomously propose marriage to another Sim, and they can autonomously, like, yeah, it says accept a marriage proposal if they are already engaged. So neighborhood Sims will not autonomously get married for now. So they can accept a marriage proposal if they're already engaged. Obviously they will call you to make sure that they're supposed to get married, but if you don't want them to get married, then just tell them no and they won't. So that's really cool. And then there's a bunch of other things that your Sims can actively influence them with. So like you can trash talk other Sims, you can get two Sims to form a romantic relationship, which is really cool. If you want to, you know, get two of your friends together, or two of your Sim friends together, that's really cool. Set them up on a date. You can try and convince them to dump or divorce their romantic partners. You can encourage an unemployed neighbor Sim to find a job, which is really cool. And this will also add 2 new aspirations, and obviously those 2 will come with traits. So they add the neighborhood confidant aspiration, which basically is, in a nutshell, your Sim wants to have a positive influence on their neighbors. They want to like help them out, be a positive presence in their lives. And then you also have the villainous Valentine one, which is for your Sims if they want to have a more negative effect on their friends. And basically this is for the Sims that want to break up every single relationship that they are either in themselves or that their friends and neighbors are in. So this is basically for those Sims that want to break up everyone and basically break everyone's heart and make everyone miserable. So yeah, that's fun. That's going to be a lot of fun to play with. So yeah, and obviously they do both come with separate like reward traits, I guess, that your Sims can earn, and those traits will obviously have an effect on, I think, yeah, on like, yeah, moodlets and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And then yeah, just how do I see the new gameplay? It tells you how to access all of the new stuff, you know, where you can find it in the menus and all of that stuff. And then what's coming in the future. So basically this is just talking about all of the stuff that, you know, they're going to be adding to the system sometime in the future. And they also go over, very importantly, they go over the differences between the Sims 3 story progression and the Sims 4 neighborhood stories. Now, this is a very important part that I am going to read out, because there is a difference. There is a very big difference between the two, and I don't want people to get confused and to think that it will be exactly like the Sims 3, because it won't be. Honestly, I absolutely despised story progression in the Sims 3. It always messed up my whole save and my whole world, and I just hated it. I hated story progression in the Sims 3. But basically, there's 2 key differences. Story progression is a giant system that can only be turned on or off. So this was in the Sims 3. You could only turn it on or off, leaving many players feeling like they must choose between a chaotic world or a boring one. So there's only one toggle, on or off. There's no like settings for how much change or anything like that. It's just on or off. Now, neighborhood stories, on the other hand, adds rich gameplay settings that I mentioned above, alleviating this issue while solving the goal. You choose how neighborhood stories affect your game. So what I take from this is that neighborhood stories, the settings for them will be a lot more like fine-tuned, and you can kind of like layer one of the settings on top of the other one and basically choose how much story progression you want versus just turning it on or off. Story progression can affect a wide range of factors in The Sims 3, but at the start, neighborhood stories will have a much smaller range of changes. This is because most of the work we're doing now is on the underlying systems that drive these life changes, plus the gameplay settings we just talked about. That means better tools to create better gameplay, but first we have to do the work. So yeah, that's the second difference. Story progression, whole bunch of things. It basically affected everything in your Sims' lives. But with the neighborhood stories, they're adding it in like little small batches, I guess, if that makes sense. So multiple updates. And yeah, that's basically most of the blog post. I'm not going to read the rest of it. But yeah, so that's the blog post about story progression. And yeah, I'm really excited to like know more about story progression and to actually know more about what exactly it is that they're going to be changing and what they're going to be adding in the future as well. I mean, obviously we know now what they're adding in the update, like on November 30th. Just forgot the date there. But yeah, so on November 30th, we'll be getting the story progression update. They're also going to be dropping a couple of different things. Let me just pull up my notes really quickly. But yeah, so they're going to be on the day after the update. So November 30th is the update. Then on December 1st, we're going to be getting two new things. We're going to be getting a new scenario, which is the surviving the holidays scenario, and I'm not going to go into what that is about because I can't remember what they mentioned and I'm not going to go look it up. So yeah, we're getting the survive the holidays one, which is I think going to be a limited time only thing because, you know, over the holiday season. So yeah, we're going to be getting that on December 1st, and we're also going to be getting the first Sims Delivery Express like download thing. So if you don't know what that is, basically Sims Delivery Express is kind of a way for them to add it's a way for them to add things to the base game that don't require a separate big update. So if they want to add one or two new hairstyles or a couple of new objects or, you know, stuff like that. So that's what the Sims Delivery thing is going to be. And I'm going to switch over really quickly. The picture that you guys can see right now is actually some of the new items that we're going to be getting in that Sims Delivery update. So on the 1st, we're going to be getting a new scenario and we're going to be getting a Sims Delivery update. Not update, but I don't know what you call it, like a gift or whatever. But that one is actually going to include a base game hairstyle. And then the week after that, I'm going to assume it's going to also be on like maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday. But basically the week of the 6th to like the 10th, I'm going to guess somewhere in there, we're going to be getting these items. Now, these items are all obviously holiday themed. There's like a fruit cake and some aprons and I don't know, this is just really cute. I'm really excited to get all of these items in the game, especially this poker set for like by fireplaces. I've wanted something like that in the game forever. And this is all going to be base game as well. So yeah, all of the Sims Delivery stuff is base game. So yeah, next week we're going to be getting a new hairstyle, and then the week after that we're going to be getting all of these like items in one of those like gifts things. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about isn't update related. I mean, it's kind of update related, but it's not about this update. This is actually about the Sims, like the Townie remakes that they talked about. A couple of months ago, they mentioned that they wanted to completely go through the base game and like change up the Townies, not renovate them, but make them over. Implement a couple of changes that they couldn't do when the base game was first released, all of that stuff. And they actually gave us a sneak peek at some of the Townies that they're kind of the concept art for the changes that they want to make. So first off, we have Mortimer. So this is kind of like the concept that they came up for Mortimer. Obviously, none of this is in the game or at this point. So all of like the changes on him are just like concept art. They're not actual things that they've already made, if that makes sense. But yeah, so he looks a lot older. I'm not sure how I feel about some of these concepts, if I'm being completely honest. I don't really like the way Mortimer looks, especially Mortimer and Bella. I really don't like the way they look. Like, I don't know if they just look too old. I don't know, Mortimer looks like really, really old in this, and I think he kind of looks old enough as it is in like the base game. They talked about potentially adding in a new mustache for him, like a new mustache asset in the base game. I mean, giving him maybe some new outfit, a new hairstyle, stuff like that, I can definitely see being needed. But I don't really think he needs to look older than he already looks. That's just me though, but I really don't think he needs to look older. And then next up we have Bella, and they did say that they do want to go ahead and change her skin tone because she is a lot lighter in The Sims 4 than she was in previous games. In The Sims 2 she was a lot darker, like her complexion was a lot darker, and yeah, in The Sims 4 she's like really whitewashed. So they did say that they do want to change that in the, like, I guess remake. I guess that's what we're gonna call it, like a townie remake. But yeah, so they want to change her skin tone. They're potentially thinking about giving her a new hairstyle, adding in a new hairstyle for her. They're also obviously thinking about changing up some of her features, like her eyes and her nose and all of that stuff. And then they also said that they wanted to add a couple of like beauty spots to her and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I do like that idea. I like their idea for what they want to do with Bella. I'm just not sure about this exact skin color. It looks a little bit, I don't know, it kind of looks a little bit green to me. I don't know if that's just me, or if, I don't know if that's just the picture or if it's meant to look like that, but her skin tone looks a little bit green to me for some reason. But yeah, all of like the ideas for her, I mean, they're toying with the idea of adding some eye bags to her eyes, some lines, making her not look as young as she does in The Sims 4, which I would be on board with. I would definitely be on board with that. I mean, she looks incredibly young in The Sims 4, especially considering that she has a teenage daughter. So yeah, I really like that idea. And then the other two that they showed us was Dina and Nina Caliente. Now, they did say that they want to change up their skin tones. Obviously, a couple of their features they want to change up. They want to change up their jawlines to make them look, I mean, they're supposed to have, I think, Middle Eastern and Spanish. I think they're supposed to be from Middle Eastern and Spanish descent. Dina and Nina and like the whole Caliente family. So they want to change up their features to be more representative of the like cultures that they're from, basically, of their ethnicities and like their family heritage and all of that stuff. So I really like that idea. I like the idea that they're, you know, changing their skin tones, their facial features and everything like that, because honestly, the Sims 4 versions of the Calientes are so ugly. I mean, compared to like the Sims 2 and even the Sims 3 versions, the Sims 4 did them so dirty. They look really bad, so they really needed some work. And they also mentioned that they're actually thinking about giving Dina a different colored hairstyle as well as Nina, so changing up their hair color and not making it like this cheese yellow, because that's just horrid. So yeah, they're thinking about changing that. They also changed their eye color, or they're thinking about changing it, I should say, to something a little bit darker that's a little bit more realistic to, you know, the heritage that they're supposed to have. And then Nina, they also changed a lot about Nina. I mean, Dina's face isn't super adjusted, apart from like her eyes and maybe like her mouth. But Nina, you can see a really big difference. I mean, this Nina, just the concept for her, looks so much better than the original one, because the original Nina Caliente looks like, I don't know, her face is like really big and then her features are like squished and it kind of looks like all of her features were pulled forward, and like it's just weird. The proportion is just so weird. So in this version, obviously they've changed a lot of her features. They're also, like I said, thinking about changing her hair color and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited to see all of those changes and to see what they're actually going to be doing with the rest of the townies as well. So yeah, that is basically this video. I think I covered everything. I talk with my hands a lot in case you hadn't noticed. So yeah, that's fun. I mean, I don't even know how long this video is. So yeah, apologies if it's super long and super rambly, and if I'm really awkward in this video. Like I said at the beginning, this was my first time ever doing a facecam video, and I didn't plan to do a facecam video. So like I said, my hair is a mess. I'm literally wearing a hoodie that I've been wearing all day, and my room is an absolute mess as well. So yeah, just ignore all of that stuff. Obviously my background isn't set up. I want to do some more stuff to my background for facecam videos and streaming and all of that stuff, and none of it is set up because I didn't think I was going to be doing a facecam video today, but here we are. So anyway, back to this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give the video a like, and if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, then feel free to hit the subscribe button, and remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're excited about all of the changes and about the story progression that they're going to be adding, and yeah, what your thoughts on all of this stuff is. And yeah, like I said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you on my very next video. Bye everyone.